It's time for Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 Timeout, powered by Dell. We're looking ahead to the game between Royal Challengers Bangalore and Mumbai Indians. Let's get Sanjay Manjrekar and Ian Bishop in on the preview. Gentlemen, you know the drill. First of 5 statements coming your way is that RCB must find a place for Moeen Ali. Sanjay.
Either Moeen Ali or Zampa. Taking a leaf from KKR's tactic the other day, try and strengthen one area. So maybe Zampa could come in and strengthen their bowling, because at the moment they are depending a lot on Jez. So some support in the wicket-taking department.
Bish, he played pretty much every game for RCB last year, didn't start this season. Would you like to see him in this team?
Yeah, I'd like to see him in because I think he would add some ballast to the middle order batting, but he'll also give them another bowling option. So you get 2 players in one, and that's what I like about it.
Tom Moody did suggest that you could leave out of Washington Sundar and then play either a keeper or whoever else to balance the role that Sundar would do of off-spin and batting. Is that the way you'd go if you have to give Moeen Ali a game?
It could be an option. My only issue is who's the keeper that you bring in. If you bring in Parthiv, where do I bat Parthiv? Parthiv is best when opening, right? And I want Virat Kohli to be up the top because his opening numbers are so very good. So that creates a headache for me. I don't know that AB de Villiers can keep. So that's the conundrum I find myself in.
That's exactly what Gautam said, Sanjay. Then AB has to keep, otherwise the balance is upset.
Yeah, if AB keeps, then there are 2 swaps that can be warranted. 2 foreign players can go out and 2 new ones can come in, either Moeen Ali or Zampa. And you could maybe try somebody like Isuru Udana because Stein and Umesh Yadav together have been expensive. That's a lot of burden to carry for Virat Kohli. Also, the fact that Washington Sundar has bowled just 3 overs in 2 matches, so he hasn't really contributed as an off-spinner. So Moeen Ali comes in, then he strengthens the batting as well. But more than Moeen Ali, the bowler, I'd be tempted to have somebody like Zampa, the bowler.
All right. We're already touching upon what our next statements would be, so this should be fun. Let's go to our next point. Bish has already touched upon it. Virat Kohli should open with Aaron Finch at number 3. As the numbers come up, Bish, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like it that way. I think Sanjay was the one to point out that Finch could drop down to number 3, I think, and really sort of still play a role because he's a power hitter as well. But I do feel the numbers are overwhelming, and it's still early in the tournament, but Virat's stats are overwhelming when he opens the batting.
Then you have to do something about young, Padikkal. He can't be batting down the order. It's just too much pressure for young players to be starting off in the IPL and batting at 4, 5 and 6. We saw what happened to Priyam Garg the other day, Abhishek as well.
But you're not a fan of Kohli and Padikkal opening with Finch at 3?
No, Finch, because I've watched Finch in white ball cricket as an opener, and he's been in tremendous form, So Finch at the top, plus he won't put as much a price on his wicket, so you have him going for the bowling and Padikkal, somebody who can, take his time and get into it. If Virat and Padikkal both open, I'm seeing 2 similar approaches at the top of Finch, really, for me. And it's something that I felt strongly about right from the start, that if Finch has to add full value to this team, he's got to open because he's been in the IPL before. Somebody's batted him down the order. It just sort of diffuses him as a batsman.
Right, did bat at 3-4 for Gujarat Lions. Gautam Gambhir said he could bat at 3, but you've heard what Bish and Sanjay may have fit. Let's go to our next point. Again, a player that we have already touched upon. If RCB are to make changes to their overseas contingent, time to give Isuru Udana a game, the Sri Lankan all-rounder. Sanjay?
Or, we talk about changes that are warranted. This is what can happen or should be done, and there is a lot of sense to it. But there's also this philosophy of a lot of captains, and they have shown results as well, that keep persisting with one guy, and eventually, he'll come to the party, like we saw with Shane Watson. So it is a sensible move. Whether it will happen, whether Virat will do it is another matter. It's worth trying because Shane has really struggled in the 2 games so far. Plus Umesh Yadav, being as expensive as Stein is a big problem, big headache for RCB.
Bish, I guess the player he would come in for is Dale Steyn, given they need someone to plug those runs at the death. Your thoughts on Isuru Udana?
Yes, and of course, when I think Sanjay is the same, and all your guests are the same, I'm not going to tell you what Virat might do. I'm going to tell you what I would do and take accountability for it. So Isuru Udana, If he gives you those death options, I think we got a stat that he's going at just about 8.5 in the death in recent years. So if he can give you that, if he can give you, and I know the IPL is a different league, the top-notch league, he can give you a little bit of batting as well, which might help down the back end there. The only concern really is staying maybe a little rusty early in the season, coming off a cold time. So you're perhaps going to get rid of a veteran to bring in another guy who might be rusty as well, and then he may need more time to get going.
All right, interesting one. Let's go to a compatriot of Dale Steyn and talk about the Mumbai Indians for a bit. Quinton de Kock needs to step up is my next statement. Sanjay?
Yes, he needs to step up, but I guess there isn't as much pressure on Quinton de Kock. You ask me why?
Why?
You have to ask me why.
Yes, why?
Left and right hand combination, you see, for Mumbai Indians.
Bish?
No problems there yet with Quinton. He got a 30-yarder and he failed in one game, too early.
Fair enough. And our last point, Jasprit Bumrah should take the new ball for the Mumbai Indians. He's been introduced in overs 6 and 4 in the first 2 games respectively. Bish, you've got Bolt, you've got Pattinson. But should Bumrah get an over with the new ball?
I think those 2 guys did well in that last game. Pattinson has had 2 actually good opening spells, and you need Trent Bolt to be able to swing that new ball. So I would say go with those 2 guys for a little bit longer. And if things turn, then you've got the Bumrah option.
Sanjay?
Absolutely. With Bish on that one. Imagine Trent Bolt to 2 right-handers, Finch, who doesn't like the ball coming back in. Virat on a rough day can get out like before. And Bumrah is not somebody who you think, is vastly more penetrative or dangerous with the new ball. He's good any time of the innings as opposed to Bolt and Pattinson, who might be a little limited later on.
Thank you very much, Sanjay Manjrekar, Ian Bishop, for previewing that game between Bangalore and Mumbai on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.